Bittinger Stadium. It has been a wonderful facility. The place has been great. The people have been great. The games have been great. And we can only hope that the championship today will also be great. Indiana Langford will lead things off for the tournament. She has been consistent. She has reached base in 6 of the 9 plate appearances for her. And Michigan, as we showed you, playing one more game than UCLA in this tournament. Now playing in the first round as the 8th seed. She takes the first pitch for a ball. UCLA holds the all-time advantage, 17-10-1 coming into this meeting. And setting the defense here behind Fisher.
Playing shallow, too. Obviously, Langford, the speed that she has, looks to try to drop the bounce in on a slap here. Obviously, the drop ball pitcher, that can be more difficult. Sometimes you get lower in the zone, you can really pound the ground as a slapper. Playing shallow to try to take away that speed from Langford. And this is a great start from Fisher. You see the tumble on the pitch, even a pitch that's higher in the zone.
Oh, she got her. First batter up, first strikeout.
You have to identify it early. This one did not drop as much, but had good tumble as it kind of tailed away and gets Langford chasing it. And that's what Michigan's going to have to work against right here, is that kind of movement.
You know, it's interesting. I mentioned the 3 pitchers that UCLA is the fortunate ability to just kind of cycle through, and their coaching staff has said, you know, we've used every single one, over 100 pitches thrown here this year. We have divvied it up between top 25 competition as well, so you know, it's not like they're leaning heavily on 1 or 2 or 3 of them. Like, I mean, just individually, I mean, in terms of raising their competition against the best competition. They're giving them all a piece, and all a piece of the pie, and all a taste here this year.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's how you prep for the postseason, to me. If an opponent is able to chase one pitcher, the other one has experience in tougher situations. They pitch through adversity.
Off the end of the bat for Conway, a dribbler there to Bragg. The shortstop there for UCLA, who handles that ground ball. And you see Mujica is behind home plate, also a freshman, and her and Fisher go way back. They played together with some USA softball. They know each other really well, and so that is a good battery to set up and to maybe, you know, give, if she needs it, I don't know if she needs it, but to give Fisher some kind of that sweet spot behind the plate.
Well, I think maybe some of it, too, is to feel confidence and control in the situation where it doesn't all feel new. You've got a catcher that you've thrown to for a long time.
Ground ball that's foul. And this is Lauren Putz, the all-talented freshman against freshman here in this matchup. And she was named to the all-freshman team. 2 for 9 here in tournament play. Both Fisher and Putz named to the Big Ten all-freshman team. And a ground ball through the 5-6 hole. Now Bragg kind of charged at it, couldn't quite get to it, and it's a 2-out single here for Putz.
Putz did a phenomenal job just sitting back on this and waiting for it. And as she waited for it, again, not a solid hit, not something we're typically used to seeing Putz, but she drives it right through that 5-6 hole. A phenomenal job to just get a runner on base. It doesn't matter. There's going to be a lot of ground balls on a drop ball pitcher. You just have to find your way to get it through that infield. If you're Michigan, that's got to be their goal here.
Lauren Putz is part of Michigan blood. Her mother, Kelsey, was a 2-time All-American. Father, J.J. Putz, played in the MLB 12 seasons. but is also a Michigan Wolverines. And the best part is head coach Bonnie Thole was the first to know about Kelsey and JJ having twins, being Lauren. Said, I never thought at that moment that I would be able to coach her someday, but it makes it even more so special how well they've known the family for years.
She's a twin, too, and what she told Bonnie Thole and Carol Hutchins, I got a double play combination coming your way. Her twin is a beach volleyball player at Lindenwood. I guess it would have been the world's greatest upset if Putz didn't come to Michigan to play for Bonnie Thole, since they know each other so well.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I didn't live in Michigan, but I'll tell you what, when you're raised by 2 Michigan fans and Michigan athletes, it's kind of hard not to bleed
all
bleed
of that
blue.
Factoring in. Of course, Stevenson, a fly ball to right field. And that's Terry who chases it down. She got the win as the pitcher yesterday. UCLA to the plate for the first time. Went every single inning last year. Her Big Ten tournament stats, though, she has thrown 14 innings, which is the most out of any pitcher in the Big Ten tournament here so far.
And hasn't given up a lot of runs at 1.50 ERA. 10 strikeouts. She mixes them around. She's limited the walks. Knowing you have Hayne behind you doesn't hurt either.
And Polo swings at the first pitch, a fly ball that's in foul territory, leaning over against the fence and making the grab. How about it, Ellie Sealer?
And you've got to have great defensive plays if you're going to play a clean game. Sealer right over the fence of the bullpen there. Just continues to bring her glove over. Jessica Clemens, hoping for a new life, didn't get it there.
Here's Pola, who had started her day in the semifinals 3 for 3. Again, she was 3 for 4 in the game, but she flies that one out again to Sealer. So just a few pitches here, and Sealer's taking care of the first 2 batters due to the fly ball. You see the Michigan defense. They have been top 3 in the Big Ten all season long. As Sealer's there in left field, Conway has had a great Big Ten tournament, and Stevenson rounds out the outfield. Erickson, Fantucci, Langford, and Ramey, and then Valamont is behind home plate. Yeah, you get 2 outs before you get Woolery and Grant, and you're doing pretty good, especially with the bases empty here.
And to me, if you're going to give your team a chance to win, you've got to find a way to keep the bases clear when you get Jordan Woolery and Megan Grant up at the plate, because what they can do, the long ball, the way they hit the ball hard, just even in the outfield, it doesn't necessarily have to go over, but they put the ball and play hard. Good things happen on the base path when you have runners on for them.
The Bruin Bombers, they like to call themselves, Jordan Woolery and Megan Grant, sit 3 and 4. They want to bat as a tandem. And for the tournament, you see Woolery's numbers, 4 for 6. You wouldn't expect anything less. Both of them, first team all Big Ten honorees. In fact, in this lineup, UCLA goes 2, 3, and 4 with Pola, Woolery, and Grant, all first team all Big Ten honorees. Swing and a miss. What a start here from Michigan. 7-pitch inning for Turkowski. Single game. Got 10 games that we worked here this week. At the plate for Michigan, it's Lily Valamont. Yeah, this is the 11th game. They've gone through 10 full games getting into this with the 12 teams here this week. In video, thanks to Peter and Mark. Utilities, Matt, Nicholas, and Robert. Our technical directors, of course, Caitlin and Bob. Audio, Ryan, Ben, Jeff, Kevin, and Judy. The graphics that you see popping up, Brendan, Dawn, Christian, and Elena handling that. There's Lily Valamont's graphic saying that she's 3 for 9 here in the tournament. Foul ball there to Valamont. That score bug, so you know where we're at. Josh and Sam handled that. I mean, and Travis, Nick, Misha, Jack, and Abby on replay with some of the different looks that we've gotten all tournament. Boy, they've been busy.
On point.
Here's the 0-2. and strikes her out. Speaking of replays, let's roll one.
And this is the pitch that you have to pay attention to. It spins and on the corner, dropping a little bit off the side of the plate. You can see how it moves, the excitement that you see. Madison Fisher, an outstanding job and good movement.
Swinging at the first pitch is Ellie Sealer, and 2 up and 2 down. And now it's UCLA having the quick inning defensively.
Now batting for the Wolverines, third baseman, number 7, Maddie Erickson.
First pitch swinging, Erickson taking it deep all the way to the warning track, making Caitlin Terry work for it. And another quick inning, a 1-2-3 inning. UCLA's got another chance at the plate. We've had a 6-pitch inning in the top half of the second by UCLA, and Michigan is coming off a 7-pitch inning in the bottom half of the first. We're just moving right along as Megan Grant, Ramirez, and Slimp will be the batters due up here for UCLA.
That's how quick the hands were of Megan Grant. That's why she can get those 23 home runs, leading the nation. She is just so good at what she can do at the plate with her power.
Grant popping it up in foul territory here. And Valamont had charged over. But
oh, you see all the paper flying out of Megan Grant's signed wristband. Looked like confetti coming around her.
it did. They're celebrating early. That's right.
That would have been quite a replay with a home run instead of a fly ball or a foul ball.
That's right.
Did you see that? Some confetti floating around you.
Oh, that would have been great. 2-2 the count here for Megan Grant. And a foul ball there for Grant, but everything stays put in the wristband that time, as opposed to this.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got multiple different sign cards in your wristband, and it just, for whatever reason, on that swing through, popped right out of that wrist guard.
It's not very often that you see that,
No.
if at all.
Maybe one pops out. Ooh, not a bad pitch there. Just missing off the corner. Good frame by Valamont. We've seen Grant chase some of those outside pitches on that outside corner, a lot of them to lefty curveball throwers that kind of move further out, but chooses not to swing at that one off the plate.
Here's the 7th pitch of this at-bat, and Grant, a high fly ball to shallow center field, for the first out. Flies out to the shortstop, Fantucci. To put it in perspective, she went 7 pitches in that at-bat, and it was 7 total pitches in the first inning for the top 3 hitters for UCLA.
You were reading my mind. I was thinking the same thing. That was about as long as the last inning.
There's Alexis Ramirez. Once again, getting a start in the DP spot. She's so valuable with her bat. They got to keep her in the lineup. If you haven't been following the UCLA story, she was dealing with an injury that happened in 2024. And coming back from that, she's trying to get to the point where, she can start behind the plate as a catcher, not just start in the lineup as a DP. She did do that in the quarterfinals, played all 7 innings starting behind home plate. First time since 2024. And she sits on that inside strike pitch.
A great spot there on the inside corner. Kierkowski's able to paint that corner well on the inside and get the strike call, kind of expand the zone in and out. That's the goal, to work for those mishits.
And Ramirez, the one happer, over to the shortstop Fantucci, who handles it. Got her body right in front of it and makes the throw to first base, and so 2 away. Tonight, baseball comes your way when 17th ranked UCLA clashes with Illinois. Live coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Yeah, just down the street from Ross-Ade Stadium. Beautiful big Bittinger Stadium. Right next door to the baseball stadium as well. They've done a great job in building this new facility to be able to host a tournament like this. Riley Slimp has had a memorable Big Ten tournament in her freshman season. She also was all freshman team. And she fouls that one back. Of course, had the game-winning RBI against Indiana in the quarterfinals. In the bottom of the 7th, there's a look at Bittinger Stadium. Boy, it was packed last night when Purdue was playing here, and there's a good crowd here for the championship as well. Lisa Byington, Jenny Ritter, Sydney Supley is our roaming reporter here today. And Falamont was trying to frame that up.
Good 1-2 pitch there. Maybe a little bit too close for me. I feel like you get a 0-2 count, maybe a little bit further off the plate.
She sits on it, times it perfectly, and Slimp with a 2-out single.
Same with that on a 1-2 count, maybe too far over the plate to allow somebody like Riley Slimp, who has seen the ball well throughout this season. She delivers this one, just an outside pitch, turns on it well. Gets herself on base, but again, to me, too far over the plate on a 1-2 count.
This is good news for UCLA because the 1 or the 2 seed has won 21 of the 24 championships all time and won the 8 previous titles. By the way, that's the first hit against Lauren Durkowski. She had retired the first 5 UCLA batters. And here is Kanaya Bragg. You would think, well, you know, the first 5 UCLA batters are dangerous, but it was Bragg and Mujica in the 7 and the 8 spot who hit home runs in yesterday's semifinal.
And Bragg just 3 for 6 with a home run in this tournament. So when you say, you know, for me, I look and say, okay, well, she got through the heart of the lineup. She got past Polo, Woolery, and Grant, but let me tell you, when you're still working down this lineup and you got to deal with Bragg, you got to deal with Mujica, you still have some power you have to work through.
Oh, 1-2 the count. High and outside to Bragg. Now, Kanaya Bragg, Sophia Mujica, both freshmen. You go freshman, freshman, freshman with Slimp and Bragg and Mujica in this lineup. And you finish off with a sophomore Terry at the number 9 spot. Struck her out. Strikeout number 2 for Durkowski. Well, UCLA got its first hit against Lauren Durkowski, but Durkowski has the final say.
Yeah, this pitch up in the zone really got Bragg to swing through. She needs to throw it more often.
Like they are today. What are you seeing from your Wolverines?
They're really one-pitch focused. They have been the whole tournament. And, you know, they're just playing one-pitch softball, which to me is the key. You can only play one game at a time. You can only play one pitch at a time. So they're dialed in.
You were mentioning the history between both programs. How special the relationship you have with the UCLA's coaching staff as well?
Well, you know, we've got a former Bruin in our dugout for many, many years who is a part of many of the successes we've had. And we have a tremendously respectful relationship. They're quality people. They go about it the right way. And, you know, we've got a long history, but we are absolutely have full respect for each other.
We've been talking all weekend long, and one thing you said to me when you saw this crowd, that women's sports has arrived, especially Big Ten softball. When you look around, how much has the growth of the sport over time just amazed you?
Well, as somebody who came from a long time ago, I can tell you that women's sports has arrived. And the ability to be on TV as much as we are with all the college softball games that are on these days. And it's not just softball. All of women's sports. People are investing in women's sports. They're realizing that it is a tremendous opportunity. And you know what? We need all the support we can get, because at this really critical time in college athletics, we need people to understand that these women are just as deserving as anybody else.
A pleasure, Coach Hutch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for following us. Go Blue.
I don't know. Thank you, Sydney, and thank you, Hutch. I don't know if there's anyone better to talk about the impact of women's sports and the growth of women's sports than Carol Hutchins. You know, Kelly, in a way, Perez has talked about Hutch's impact on her, even as a coach, and says, you know, if there were a top 3 list of impactors or mentors to me in my career, Carol Hutchins would definitely be on that top 3 list. She keeps it real. She said, I enjoyed her as a young coach, and being able to have someone like Hutch tell me, if you need anything, that helps to build some confidence. She would model Hutch and meet her first at some of those Division I conventions. She said she was a young coach. Hutch had her and a lot of other different young coaches go out to the beach. She said, grab your gloves, we're going to do defensive situations. And from that point on, you know, she was hooked and learning from Hutch and trying to be impacted by the former Michigan great.
I think Hutch is she's kind of that person that no matter what she's talking about, you're dialed in. She'll take you to school on whatever it is. She has passion about a lot of things, more than softball, but women's sports in a huge way. Second called, third strike here. This pitch is not a drop ball. Excuse me, it's a drop ball, but it does not drop with the vertical movement that's typical. You're almost looking at Fantucci waiting for it to drop, and it just does not tumble out.
Now she got Ramey swinging and Fantucci looking. See what she does with Indiana Langford for the first time. She struck out Langford in her first at-bat. Went to a full count and then got her for the first strikeout of the game.
The corner's crashing here. If you're Langford, taking a look at how quickly Grant Woolry are not afraid to be like right in your face when you squared a bunt right there. Something from a strategical point for Langford, who's up her batting average, has to really take a look at the corners and figure out what's a good time to really pound it into the ground for a slap or drop that bunt down for speed. But the fearless corners, they're not giving you a whole lot of room on a bunt.
Addison Fisher is from Bend, Oregon. And as you can imagine, all kinds of Division I college coaches wanted her to play for them. Here's the 2-2. And Langford skies it in foul territory, and the catch is made. A 1-2-3 inning for Fisher and UCLA. I mentioned UCLA holds the overall series advantage. It actually won the last 6 meetings, but Michigan has won the last 3 postseason matchups. And that 2005 National Championship Showdown went to Game 3 of the series. 20 years ago, Jenny.
It feels like last week. I kid you not. It still feels like last week.
Claimed the program's first and only national championship. Kelly Inouye Perez had, you know, in her meeting with, in her connection with Carol Hutchins, she said she caught Hutch's eye right after that in a fly ball from Mujica in the infield. And she said, if I was on staff and I was going to lose to anyone, it was okay for me to lose to Hutch and to Michigan, because I realized how much it meant to the program and how much it meant to a coach like her.
It's quite a compliment. I mean, obviously I have a different opinion of it, because we wanted to fight and we wanted to win, and that's what it felt like, was all-out war. But I think we heard Bonnie Thole say it yesterday. UCLA is the standard. They have more national championships than anybody. They know how to win. They know what it takes. they're down to business when it comes to championships, when it comes down to winning ball games, when it comes down to putting a team together. You want to continue to fight for them. You want to be on the same level as them. They were going for a three-peat that year, and what I love about that is that we were the #1 team in the country and the underdog in that final because of UCLA, because they're that good.
This is what I love. You look at Bonnie Thole and Kelly Inouye Perez is the same. I mean, they both were longtime assistants before now they decided to take over their alma mater, right? I mean, they believe in this program. You know, Bonnie Thole was the lead assistant for Hutch and was an all Big Ten player, the shortstop position. Kelly Inouye Perez, 19th year as a head coach, but 32nd overall at UCLA. They both have the buy-in. And both these programs have the consistency. And if you look at how many head coaches each program has had, it hasn't been a whole lot on either side.
Yeah, I mean, the loyalty runs deep. And to me, that's my favorite part about both of these teams is how they stay loyal. All of these coaches, assistant coaches, associate head coaches, could be head coaches in other places and be super successful in those other places, and yet they choose to stay as a staff.
It's Terry taking it into foul territory. I'll tell you what, those left fielders, both Sealer and Slimp have made some plays over there. And all the balls seem to be filtering out to left.
You can see where Sealer is. She's kind of hiding close to that foul line, knowing that to those lefty hitters, Terry, those slappers, they kind of look to hit in that shallow outfield along the line. Like it's planned up.
I'd be remiss to not mention Sue Enquist, right? We talked to Carol Hutchins, who's here on site, but Sue Enquist, a legend in the softball world. And Kelly Inouye Perez spent 13 years with Enquist to become the 3rd head coach in UCLA history. A high fly ball from Clements. And still no score between UCLA and Michigan. We will talk to the UCLA head coach.
For the next one, you know, I always say it's not what happened, but what you do next. So we're looking forward to some big things happening, some Bruin magic to happen, but we got to take it one pitch at a time.
Awesome. Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
Addison Fisher is a freshman, and I mentioned she's from Bend, Oregon, a small city in Oregon, just over 100,000 population. Kelly Inouye Perez was talking about every coach would make their way to Bend, Oregon, you know, to watch Addison play. Patty Gasso, the Oklahoma coach, was there almost as much as Inouye Perez, and they joked that we should just, when we get to the airport, we should just take the same rental car to the Diamond to watch her play.
Here she said Patty Gasso, Mike White with Texas and her. Could you imagine that, being a rental car driving on your way to Little Bend, Oregon to watch a pitcher?
Can you imagine Little Bend, Oregon looking out and seeing in the stands those 3 coaches all sitting together?
What a moment.
Tanisa Conway is your batter here from Michigan. And you know, none of these offenses right now have figured out these 2 starting pitchers. Lauren Durkowski, Addison Fisher have each only given up a hit. It will be the first to get a run here today, as we're at the top of the 4th. One and 2 now the count.
This foul ball in on the hands. Look, bounces right in to the UCLA dugout. Good ducking and diving there.
And Conway, tough to strike her out, and Addison Fisher does exactly that. 5 strikeouts now for the freshman.
And Conway goes after a pitch that's up in the zone, and smart to me too, because you're looking for something that's higher up in the zone, but Fisher gets the good movement and gets the chase. You can start mixing up that drop ball you just saw there with that vertical drop, the movement on that. And then you, every once in a while, mix in a rise ball, something that jumps, even if it doesn't jump as well. A team looking to identify a pitch that maybe is a little bit higher in the zone, because that's the one that you can really connect with. You don't want to swing at the drop balls that start at the knees and drop further, then you're expanding the zone low. So So you got Conway to swing at that.
And Puts fouls it off her body. She's the only one that's gotten a hit off of Addison Fisher here today. Addison Fisher had really good numbers. We showed them to you at the beginning against Michigan in the 3-game series that UCLA swept the Wolverines in. And once again, Puts, oh wow, running it down. The center fielder Clemens chases it down on her horse for out number 2. And Fisher appreciates that effort.
We saw a hit like this earlier in the tournament that was the same way, a center fielder running it down. Clemens with her speed. This looks like it's going to drop in the gap. Clemens just closes that gap.
Lauren Puts thought she might have had hit number 2, and you know, pitchers appreciate that kind of work behind them.
Well, I mean, I think as a pitcher, you see that, and you're thinking, okay, go back up third. I just gave up a hit in the gap, and then here comes your center fielder with blazing speed that just, it doesn't feel like there's any holes in your outfield. And when you have an opportunity to have a fast outfield like that, forget about it. The confidence it brings you.
Ellis Stevenson fouls it off her leg. We told you the success of the 1 and the 2 seeds here in the Big Ten tournament. The 1 seed has won 12 times, the 2 seed 9 times. And actually, the 8 seed has won once. That came with Michigan State. The 8 seed in Indiana also got to the championship game last year as well. So, you know, if you're the 8 seed, there is a chance. Michigan State won it in 2004 as the 8 seed. Ella Stevenson is 0 for 1. She flew out in the first inning. Now, both of these pitchers have produced and induced quite a few fly ball outs here today, and hit by pitch, and Stevenson is aboard. Just the second base runner that Fisher has given up.
And that drop ball, when you're trying to get it down in the zone, just kind of spins off her hand. You can see it falls off those fingers behind her hip and goes too far on the inside, ricochets off that guard on the front foot, right into that back foot.
And the first free pass that either pitcher has given up. Both of them have thrown really clean softball games here so far. Valamont attacking the first pitch.
Kind of, to me, the feel of how this game is going to happen is you have to play clean defense. You have to be clean with your free passes in the circle as well.
Taylor Tinsley is getting some work in the bullpen. She picked up the quarterfinal win against Indiana. Her 9th complete game that she got in the quarters. That's the most on the team. And speaking of complete games, Jenny, just to show how balanced this pitching staff is for UCLA, in the 3-game set against Michigan, not one of them threw a complete game.
And they mixed it up well. And part of that is credit to Michigan for chasing some pitchers.
And Fisher takes care of that and fields her own position. The score is still 0-0 between UCLA and Michigan.
Also leaning on the experience of playing in this moment.
Well, this is where you want to be. Like, the opportunity to win a championship, it's just great to be on the field. A wonderful day. Purdue's done such a nice job with this tournament and always competing for championships. That's our goal every single year. Doesn't matter if it's a Big Ten or national title. And I like that we're staying right here in the moment on, you know, this great Mother's Day weekend.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, all the strong mothers that bring us these strong women.
Yeah, I love it. Happy Mother's Day to you, Jenny Ritter.
First Mother's Day to you, Lisa.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. First of many.
But I second and third and fourth that. We need strong moms and strong dads, right? But we need both to raise strong daughters. Tied at 0 between Michigan and UCLA. Savannah Pola flew out. We've seen a lot of fly ball outs for both of these offenses, and she flew out in the first inning. It was a really short at-bat. That was part of the 7-pitch inning in the top of the first, where Lauren Turkowski and Michigan took care of Clements and Pola and Woolery. 1, 2, 3.
Drukowski getting behind here on Pola, not a place you want to be, especially when you have somebody like Pola at the plate who finds a way to get her barrel on so many pitches, even ones that are not in that strike zone. You've got some big hitters behind her as well.
All right, and walks Savannah Pola. And very few base runners here that we have seen either on either side.
This was Coach Lisa Fernandez's first year as a hitting coach, but she started working with Savannah Pola last season, who only had a 190 batting average at the time because she saw greatness living inside her. Those two worked, prepping her to be the hitting coach in the way that it has paid off this year. She's hitting over 400, has a new confidence, and she gives all the thanks and praise to Coach Fernandez.
I mean, is there anything that Lisa Fernandez can't do?
No, the answer is no, Lisa.
You know, you guys were roommates, right?
Roommates in pro ball. I'll tell you what, every night she would go to sleep, fun fact, go to sleep and replay the entire game, including where the batters hit it, and think about what she could do to get better. If that is not legendary and somebody who knows what it takes to be great, she's passing that on to her team right there.
Associate head coach, we talk about consistency. She's in her 27th season at UCLA. Has had, you know, some looks and some offers, and I know some interest to be a head coach herself, but, you know, she loves being an associate head coach. She loves being an assistant. She loves UCLA, most importantly. She's been managing the hitters and the infielders the last couple of years, and to Sydney's point, really in charge of the offense, digging into the analytics and helping players like Pola improve this year. A high fly ball, Woolery skies it to right field, and for the first out.
I think that's half the success for Michigan right here. If you can get through Woolery and Grant and not allow that long ball to come into effect, that's going to be key. You got Pola here on first base. You got to be careful with what she can do, especially with the power of Grant here. But so far, the benefit has been in favor of Michigan against these two hitters, Drukowski. And partially because of that, Lisa, Drukowski's throwing a lot of changeups to these two batters. And when you can mix the speed, the changeup is slow enough today. If Drukowski can mix that enough, it forces both Grant and Woolery to kind of mishit a little bit, go after pitches they might not necessarily like and pop up more than drive it.
And Grant fouls that back. It's Woolery's numbers actually that weren't very good in that Michigan series against UCLA. Woolery was 3 for 11. It was Grant that was 4 for 9, batting .444 against these Michigan pitchers in that 3-game weekend set. Here's the 0-2. She drills it, and then off the glove of the center fielder Conway. And Janisa Conway nearly made a play on it, but a single for Grant.
And I think if Janisa Conway had it her way, she'd try that again and get the out, but this was a rocket. Look how she drives this straight back up the middle. Conway, she's in the right position. You see how she sat back and waited to drive that. It was up in the zone. And then Conway, she got her glove on it. Ultimately should have had it in that glove, in my opinion. Yeah, I think if you're asking Conway, she believes so too.
They gave her an error on that, and again, Conway's going to get another chance. A fly ball from Ramirez. She handles it that time. So not a hit for Grant. It's an error there for Janisa Conway, but she takes care of that opportunity for the second out.
But I will say the benefit to that is that because it looked like it would have been caught, Pola was not able to get all the way to second base and potentially advance to third once it wasn't caught. She had to sit back and wait to go back to first base had it been caught. So she's only able to advance one base. So you still have runners just at first and second.
Riley Slimp is still the only UCLA batter with a hit against Drukowski today. It was a very patient at-bat.
She fouled off some pitches, but to me, I thought that those pitches too far over the heart of the plate. And that's ultimately why Slimp ended up getting the hit. You see Drukowski getting behind in the count here. 2 balls to none, missing the zone pretty significantly. Coach Brundage coming out. Maybe have that conversation with her to reset her. You get 2 runners on, you're trying to be a little too perfect about what you're throwing.
Get news, highlights, and analysis on The Big Show tonight at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. The 3-0 to Slim. And she takes the 3-0 pitch.
And this is not the batter, to me, that you want to walk. You've got somebody with so much power behind her. 2 batters, really, between Bragg and Mujica. You've got 2 outs. This is the batter you want to attack, even though Slim has the ability to advance runners, maybe not as much power.
Now she's got 2 strikes on her. The count goes full. That is the challenge of taking on this UCLA offense, though. I feel like every batter is capable of producing an RBI or sending it yard.
I mean, Slim has 23 RBI in the season. Certainly not somebody that can't produce it. But if you're thinking about whether, to me as a pitcher, if you'd rather face somebody that only has 2 home runs on the season, you know, versus somebody that has 9. I'm thinking I want to reduce the power, keep the ball in the park, as Coach Stoll said, like, let's keep the ball in the park. And then focus on getting the hitter that maybe is just looking for just infield hits and or short outfield hits.
Good battle between Slim and Durkowski in this at-bat. This will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat coming up. And Slim pops it up. It's a high one in the infield, and Maddie Erickson catches it, ends the inning. UCLA leaves 2 abandoned on the bases, still no score. And UCLA are adding yet another chapter to their storied rivalry and meeting in the Big Ten tournament for the first time between these 2 schools. UCLA in the Big Ten Conference for year number 1. Kelly Inouye Perez talking to us about just all the challenges. You had mentioned it at the beginning, Jenny, about being bulletproof this year. That's a big mantra for her and her team. Taking the hits, being able to handle the difficulties with the new schedule, new opponents, new travel, new weather that you have to deal with. Taking the hits, so then by the time you get to the conference tournament and then the NCAA tournament and what they hope to be another trip to the Women's College World Series, that those hits don't affect you anymore. Ellie Sealer skies one to right field. And another fly ball out.
I'm talking with Coach Inouye Perez about that being bulletproof. You're talking about a program that has won championship after championship after championship. So the expectation to me is not always conference championships and stuff. It's about getting to Oklahoma City. It's about getting back to the World Series championship. And that is an expectation when you win as much as they do. And I think, to me, again, Coach Stoll had mentioned for Michigan that UCLA is the standard. They are the standard of what it takes to win. And that is a tradition that they carry on.
I love the fact that she said, I coach in storytelling. And she said, I look forward to tell the stories of what this team accomplished to the incoming teams in the future of UCLA softball. It was interesting for me to see, you see the conference tournament history. They were runner-up in 2023, and then champions that we've documented in 2024. Ground ball from Erickson, backhander stab from Bragg, and the throw is there. Just textbook defense by the UCLA shortstop.
Kanaya Bragg, this backhand, she just picks it up easily on the knee, up and throws a bullet to get the out. The excitement from Addison Fisher. She knows she needs to use her defense, and she does. A lot of trust there.
Yeah, 2 outs now for Michigan. But it was fascinating that playing Michigan again brought her back to that regular season series. And she said, we didn't rebound from the emotion and the travel of that series. And she felt like it was one of the reasons why they were step slow against Northwestern. Of course, they also added a midweek game after they came back from that Michigan series. But that series, remember, was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday game. They returned to Los Angeles, you know, real early on Tuesday morning. Had a game Wednesday and then faced Northwestern that weekend. And she said, look, we can't make excuses. You know, we have to be able to handle all those challenges that come with us. They had bad weather in Iowa. They didn't know how to play in cold and rainy and windy weather. And so she said, these are all the learning things in year number 1 of the Big Ten Conference we got to deal with. Ground ball right to the first baseman, Megan Grant. And 3 up and 3 down. And softball tournament. Our tech managers, Braden, Zoe, and James, took care of us, you know, all week long. Our producers, Glenn Hallis and Kevin Klein, directors, Justin Helm, Danny Douglas, you know, our editors, Frank and Abby, our production assistant, taking care of things behind the scenes and helping to bring some of the beautiful sights and sounds of this Big Ten tournament. Big thank you to our stage manager, Gail Green, who got us these, make sure that we had our root beers settled and all the chocolate that we could have here in the booth. Our coordinating producer, you know, connecting and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, Bitsy Brandis. Our executive producer, Mark Holsey. President, Francois McGillicuddy. Drilling the shot to the gap. It's Bragg who gets on the board for UCLA, and just the second hit of the day for the Bruins.
And Bragg, to me, has been seeing the ball so well. This one just falls over the plate, too far over the heart of the plate. Should have been more on the corner. And Bragg just sits and barrels it up. Good extension there, right into the gap. Leadoff runner here again for UCLA, the second inning in a row. The first one in the 4th via the walk from Savvy Pola. Weren't able to do much with it last inning. You can almost feel a little bit like UCLA's offense is starting to get a little bit more on time with Durkowski.
And a couple more guys to thank. Craig in stats and Dick Bossing in stats, Jenny Ritter. And Dick Bossing, this will be his final game working as a statistician, sitting to my left. And Dick, we just want to say thank you. He actually is a West Lafayette native, so he had like a long 10-minute drive to work here this week, but he's been doing it for about 38 years. And we are grateful for you.
Yes, thank you, Dick.
Tied at 0 here between Michigan and UCLA. In the bottom of the 5th, we're just cruising right along. Lauren Hatch, the pinch runner there at first base. And Sofia Mujica, she had the big hit in the semifinals and had a big swing here, and it's a high pop-up to shallow left field. It's Stevenson who calls off Langford to make that play. And the first out of the inning. Our State of Success brought to you by State Farm. The Big Ten tournament with Wisconsin Badgers in terms of just runs per game. Quite a difference with some of the best offenses that we've seen. That's off the glove of Maddie Ramey, and it allows Hatch to make her way over to third base. It's the first chaos on the bases that we've seen, and Caitlin Terry creating it at the plate.
And this is what the short game can do with the speed. This is a beautiful bunt from Terry. Erickson does a good job coming across, taking it away from Durkowski. And as soon as you see that ball getting away from Ramey, runners are able to advance all the way to third base. You can see where Terry immediately getting to second base. Terry has to keep her feet in the box here. Ooh, foot is outside that box.
And Bonnie Thole is on the field talking to the umpires. Joe Havenhill is our home plate umpire. Christina Drum and Mike Burwell and Mike Hernandez are your umpires here today.
And this is not a reviewable play, but her foot is completely out of the box there. That should be a call. And that should be an out call there. That's why Coach Thole is a little bit heated there in that scenario.
Well, Terry's with the bunt single, advanced to second on the throwing error by Erickson, and Hatch advancing over to third base. And Michigan has committed a couple of errors here today. We'll see if this one is costly for them. Clements pops it up. Erickson's all over it. Checks third base, and Hatch gets back safely. Now 2 outs.
This is a great pitch. A rise ball that comes up in the zone. Corners are ready for it. So Erickson, that bunt doesn't get down. Erickson ready to make the catch there. A huge second out there. You're about to face the heart of the lineup here in Savvy Pola.
Driven ball by Pola, but again to the right fielder, and Michigan fired up. That was as close as it got for the Bruins, plating a run, but still scoreless. This is the trophy that these two teams, these two pitchers are chasing down. Neither one has given up an earned run. Durkowski 3 hits to Fisher's 1. Fisher's got 5 strikeouts to Durkowski's 2. They each have thrown almost the same number of pitches. 66 pitches total for Durkowski to 62 for Fisher. And 43 strikeouts to 43 strikes, or 43 strikes from Durkowski to 44 strikes by Fisher. And we have a pinch hitter. It's CeCe Thorington from Michigan. Batting in the number 9 spot for Avery Fantucci.
Well, Fantucci kind of earned the spot at shortstop for a little bit more run production. But they're looking even more here. Kind of get a jolt of energy here at the bottom of the lineup. Find somebody that maybe matches up better against Addison Fisher.
Here's the 1-2. Inside. Well, Thorington is 2 for 6 going into this at-bat in pinch hit situations. Batting .333. They have rotated that spot. Ella McVeigh, Avery Fantucci have played the shortstop position here from Michigan. And throwing in Thorington here as a pinch hit situation. Why not in the top of the 6th?
You got to try something. Obviously, this game you can feel it. Not a lot of runs are going to be plated. You've got to find a way to get some run production going.
And the last 4 championships have all been pitchers' duels.
I think as it should be. You think about how you get here. You've got to have clean pitching and find a way for your hitting to come through.
Ground ball, Bragg handles. And Thorington is retired. That is the 5th ground ball out by UCLA. 6 fly ball outs to 5 ground ball outs. Through the 5-6 hole on the first pitch. And Langford is in. She takes second base. Gets that extra 60 feet.
And this is something that Michigan has looked to do all season. Take advantage when you can. This one looks like it should be a single. Bounces away from Riley Slimp there, and because of that, pays attention to the detail of that and gets all the way to second base, paying attention to detail, taking an extra 60 feet. That is the goal for Michigan and what has really propelled them here to the tournament.
She singled through the left side, advanced to second on the air by the left fielder. And heads up base running that sets up a scoring chance here for Michigan. UCLA wasn't able to take advantage. We'll see if the Wolverines can. Conway, it's over the head of Clements. And Langford rounding third to score the first run of the Big Ten Tournament Championship.
Ice in her veins is Janisa Conway. She has been stellar here in the home stretch of the regular season and then going into this tournament. She just sees this pitch. It does not tumble low enough in the zone. She connects with it and lifts it well into the outfield over the head of Jessica Clements there in center field. Plenty of time bringing into Langford to score.
An RBI double for Conway, and you see Langford rounding third, and the emotion of a championship game.
You can just feel at this point that runs are so hard to come by. You've got to find a way to push one across and then hold them.
And the ground ball out.
Right now,
Fisher,
there's
who
a lot
handles.
of cheering going not only for the run, but they're chanting double the scoops. As Michigan was promised after making it to the semifinals, they could go get ice cream. The team bus got there, and it was closed. So their motivation tonight is we get double the ice cream. So after every hit, you're hearing from the dugout, double the scoops.
It's a real thing. Food as a motivator, I guess in a positive way. There is Stevenson.
I have it under good authority that is not the first time that Michigan has bragged their players with food. It's happened in my lifetime.
You know that, huh? Interesting. Very, very
Especially
interesting.
dessert. That's all it takes.
With that ground ball out, Conway now advancing to third base, so she is 60 feet away. And you see work in the bullpen. Taylor Tinsley continues to get warm.
And for UCLA, this is a key out here to try to avoid that second run from scoring. Again, runs are hard to come by right now. So if you're UCLA, goal is to limit this inning to just one run plated. Your offense has found a way to get on base. That last inning, you have to find a way to get them back on base.
A one-hopper. The play can't be made on her knees. She's safe. And Conway scores Michigan's run. All you got to do is put the ball in play, and Ella Stevenson did exactly that.
Stevenson might be one of the most clutch hitters that I've seen in the Big Ten this entire season. There's a runner on base. She'll put the ball in play somehow. She'll give her team a chance to do it. This one coming back up the middle. Bragg makes a great play on it, and from the knees makes the throw. It's just too late. An incredible defensive play by Kanaya Bragg. Stevenson has enough speed to beat it out, and because of that, Conway's able to score easily. You see the energy there from Conway as well. Michigan feeling it with some runs plated.
Generate runs any way you can. And when there was the question of would there be runs scored and at what point, now Michigan has gotten 2 in the top of the 6. We have a pitching change. It'll be Taylor Tinsley to warm up for UCLA. And long hours to bring you know, such wonderful softball. We saw upsets on that first day. We saw the 10 and the 11 and 12 seed winning for the first time in Big Ten tournament history. We've seen the 8 seed here get to the championship, the 12 seed get to the semis for the first time. Now we see this pitching change here for UCLA. You saw Taylor Tinsley's season numbers. She picked up the win against Indiana through a complete game against the Hoosiers.
Yeah, Tinsley has done a really good job in the circle for UCLA. She's kind of one of the veterans that just has done given her team a chance to win always. She's got a rise ball that'll go up in the zone, which is really different than from what Addison Fisher can do. So to change the look on these Michigan batters, it's absolutely the right time when you start seeing the hitters to connect with the pitch that's low in the zone. So Tinsley now going up in the zone, she's going to throw that probably more than 33.5% of the time. So just over a third of the time she's going to come in with that rise ball. That curve ball, another 20%, and then bring a changeup in as well. That curve can be a backdoor curve. You're also looking at a lefty type curve ball into a righty, and then on the outside part of the plate, a backdoor curve that starts off the plate and curves into it. So that is kind of the mix of what she can throw.
Okay, and with Tinsley switching and becoming the new pitcher, Mujica is subbed out by Ramirez, Alexis Ramirez, who has all season long, kind of been the 1-2 combo with Taylor Tinsley. And so that battery change is made. Ramirez, your new catcher. And it's Valamont at the plate for Michigan. The Wolverines have plated 2 in the top half of this inning.
We talked with Coach Stoll about, which UCLA pitcher would be the best matchup for your offense, and she actually felt like one of the two between Tinsley and Terry would have been a better matchup for the offense just because they go up in the zone. And so when you talk about the success of being able to chase a pitcher from a game, the importance for this Michigan offense that they're chasing a down ball pitcher that typically is something they've struggled with in the past, and now facing a pitcher that matches up with them better. It's a good place if you're a Wolverine.
Well, we've talked about UCLA having choices. 3 pitchers with at least 15 starts and more than 100 innings of work. Now, they've all been put in tough situations throughout the year. They've all have pitched and thrown against top competition. And now it's Taylor Tinsley's turn, the junior, to try to get it done here for UCLA and get him out of the inning with 2 outs.
And you can see the control, to me, that Tinsley has. She gets in that circle. She gets ahead of the count. And Lily Valamont almost immediately just attacks the zone, as she should. She should walk into this game, trust her stuff, know that her pitches are different. It's a different look and forces this offense to have to adjust.
Valamont kind of climbing the ladder there on that pitch. 1-2 the count. Valamont had that 3-run homer against Purdue in the semifinals.
There's a changeup from Tinsley. She's going to introduce it often when she needs it, just to change the speed up. When you've got a batter that's fouling off a lot of pitches, absolutely bring it in. It's just a little bit too high, just a little bit off the plate. A good attempt to frame the pitch by Alexis Ramirez behind the plate.
And Valamont pops it up, but just over the outstretched arms of Woolery. The 9th pitch of this at-bat to Valamont. And the count goes full.
Yeah, 2-2 pitch, a rise ball. It's a great idea. It's just got to get close enough to get Valamont to want to chase it. That one just too far up and out of the zone.
Drives it right at Bragg, who handles that one. And UCLA gets out of the inning, but we've got the first 2 runs that the Wolverines put up in the top half. Indiana Langford, every inch, every 60 feet counts. And Michigan is that close to another championship. In a Big Ten tournament record. Unbelievable, that Boilermaker story.
Yeah, Julie Gossett was incredible. But Terry, her performance yesterday, she was lights out in the circle as well. Obviously, like you said, Janisa Conway's had herself a tournament as well.
Chanel Ilakwa is at second base for Michigan. We've seen that defensive substitution for the Wolverines. And we got the big hitters coming up. Speaking of Gossett being a big hitter in the tournament, Woolery Grant Ramirez doing this inning for UCLA. That's exactly the part of the order that you want up when you're trailing by a couple of runs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's funny how the game kind of works out like that, because if you're UCLA, first of all, you got runners on base last inning. You found a way to push them through. They just didn't score, right? So you've left some runners on base, but you're chipping away, and now this is your opportunity to kind of get back to that moment, get some more runners on base, and come through with that timely hit. But you've got to feel that momentum and not think about that feeling that a couple runs were played on the other side.
Oh, look at that. I love the emotion after drawing the walk.
I think you have to celebrate it. It's as good as a single. It's as good as anything.
It fires me up.
Well, there's a leader at the plate that wants to do something. She's produced offensively all year long, so she's producing even with a walk.
And you got to look at Erin Hain for Michigan. And Bonnie Thole looks like she might be making the switch from Drkowski to Hain. You know, this pattern has worked for Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, especially.
Well, and it's always the tough part of trying to figure out when that moment should occur. And when Erin Hain needs to go in, and for a coach, you can make the right call or you cannot make the right call, and you never know until it happens. But Drkowski has thrown a gem of a game so far, but Erin Hain has been solid too, and to mix both of them, to me, the difference in what they can do, they've been solid. They're always solid one or two times through the lineup, so when you can mix it through the game here with only a few more outs to go, Erin Hain, a great opportunity, and she was a stud in the extra inning game in the regular season.
Okay, so Hain will warm up, and the next batter she will face will be Megan Grant, and call them the Bruin Bombers, the Bash Brothers, what they like to be called. I mean, Jordan Woolery and Megan Grant have been something special, Sydney Supley.
You said it best. The Bash Brothers is something that Coach Inoue Perez loves to call them based off the former baseball duo of Jose and Mark, who both had a prolific home run with the Oakland A's. And I dug a little bit deeper on their 1989 home run. They had 17 home runs by Jose. Both of them have already beat that. Mark McGuire only had 33, so there's a little bit of room to do there. But none other than that, the duo right now is leading the nation with 148 RBIs together.
Did you say only had 33, Sydney?
Just only. There's still a lot of time left in season.
Oh, man. All right, so Erin Hain is going to have to face one half of the Bash Brothers, the UCLA version that is, and what makes her so valuable on this pitching staff?
You know, I think, first of all, she has done a phenomenal job throughout the season just on her own, but she has not given up a single earned run this entire tournament. She's just been stellar. She's bringing the pitches up in the zone for a rise ball, but she's just a little bit different look. And really to mix the two of them, to change it up, same reason why you go and you put a Taylor Tinsley in, whether you give up runs or not, just to make it and change a look up. Drkowski can go back in too. So if you have a scenario where it doesn't pan out with Erin Hain, which has not been the case so far this tournament, Drkowski can always go back in.
Megan Grant reached on an error in the fourth inning. But she is 0 for 2 here today, which means she's due.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, Lisa. I'm with you. I think that when you have somebody that you play the stats on her, when she's due for a hit, you just kind of feel like the moment is now with the runner on base.
And He lays off the high one. Megan Grant, 23 home runs, tops on the team, tops in the conference, 5th most in the country. 12 of them coming in Big Ten play. That's tied a single-season conference record. And the count goes full.
It's a big pitch right here for a lot of reasons. He's still got to be careful, even on a 3-2 count.
Hard ground ball to the first baseman, and Ramey handles. Pinedo advances over to second base. But Megan Grant just hasn't gotten around on it here today.
No, and I mean, I think you think about a home run drought too. All that says to me is, okay, everyone's identified that she's hit more home runs in the nation than anybody else, and so they're going to work to be really careful about how they pitch her. You know, it doesn't mean that she doesn't have the power or that she's not seeing the ball. And she has been quiet today, and that's a win. You can get the outs.
Hard grounder, what a play by Erickson on her knees, makes the throw. Are you kidding me? Maddie Erickson, a defensive gem.
Well, Bonnie Thole said that the defense had to be clean. They had to play clean softball. This is better than clean. This is a phenomenal play, diving in front of the knees with enough power to make the throw. Erin Hain watching the entire time. How excited to have that kind of defense behind you. If you're a pitcher in the circle, knowing that you still only have one runner on base. Got that defensive protection behind you.
Riley slip. Fly ball to left. Michigan gets out of it. And they are that much closer. We're down to the final inning.
Maddie Erickson making it happen and keeping her team in this game, limiting anybody from running on the plate.
Reigning tournament champs, you could argue. Battling in another chapter of UCLA and Michigan here today. Jenny Ritter, Lisa Byington with you, Sydney Supley, our reporter here today. It is 2-0 Michigan over UCLA after the Wolverines plated 2 runs in the top of the 6th. And we head to the 7th now. And Ellie Sealer in Michigan looking to add to that lead. Because with a talented UCLA team, no lead is safe.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, this game to me, you can feel the tension on both sides just in terms of wanting to transition that momentum on either side, keep it in their dugouts, and really try to work this score up on either side. Find a way to plate runs if you're UCLA, but you can just feel the energy that this game ain't over yet.
Sealer, Erickson, and Ramey. And Sealer connects, and charging towards it is Clements for the first out. It is possible in Big Ten tournament history for the 8 seed to be successful. Michigan State won it all in 2004 as the 8 seed, and Indiana as the 8 seed just last year lost to Michigan in a 3-1 final. Michigan, though, the 8 seed for the first time in school history. Bonnie Thole has said, we said, what's gotta happen for you and your team today? She said, we have to play clean softball. It's ironic, they have committed 2 errors here today. But UCLA hasn't been able to capitalize. They've left, the Bruins have left 6 on base. They've had their opportunities.
And sometimes there are games you just don't come through with a big hit. You have to have that timely hit. We saw Purdue from the Cinderella team for finally coming through with some timely hits.
And Erickson goes down swinging.
This is a pitch that just moved up in the zone, and that's what Tinsley does so well. She starts with that rise ball that starts low in the zone. And throw that low rise. Got to swing through there. That shadow sets in.
Now, Maddie Ramey, how about that? All the way back to the warning track. I mean, that was a deep fly ball for Michigan last year. And it's Bonnie Thole now wondering, can they go back-to-back? Lauren Turkowski started this game. Will Erin Hain be able to end it here for Michigan? She faces the 7, 8, and 9 batters in this lineup. Kanaya Bragg is the first up. She's singled in the 5th.
There's a lot of power at the bottom of this lineup. So you think about this game, you know, being at the bottom of the lineup, that it's not a strong bottom of the lineup, you're mistaken. I mean, Bragg, Mujica, what they can do with one swing of the bat, they can change this game.
Bragg had the solo home run in the 6th inning yesterday in the semifinals as the number 7 hitter. Mujica had a home run, a 3-run shot in the semis as the number 8 hitter, but Bragg pops it up, a high one to shallow right center field. It's your shortstop, Avery Fantucci, who tracked that one down. And so one down. Mujica. Sophia Mujica, a freshman out of San Diego. She had the 2-run home run, as I mentioned, as a number 8 hitter yesterday in the 4th inning. She had gone 12 straight games against conference opponents now without a hit before then. And the coaching staff really felt during that stretch, don't call it a slump, because she had hit the ball really well during that time. And Mujica pops it up, but it's unplayable.
Okay, you almost want to call it like Adam's disease, if you will. Hit him Adam too much, but Mujica was hitting the ball well, and yeah, Coach Inouye Perez, the idea of a slump just wasn't kind of in that vocabulary to talk about her. I think sometimes when you see that in your batter, you keep willing them to keep trying, keep hitting, keep putting the ball in play. Good things will happen, and Mujica sent that one over the fence.
She swings and misses. The out's got to be made at first base on the dropped 3rd strike. And 2 away, and Michigan is 1 out from another Big Ten tournament title. And Hutch is leading the cheers in the stands.
And this was a beautiful pitch. It was a rise ball that didn't actually get up. It looked like it cut more in as a screwball. It kind of threw Valamont off on the swing through. Valamont still able to make the throw to first base. And those 2 power hitters here at the bottom of the lineup, so important.
Bonnie Thole's mother, Madonna, made the trip from Tinley Park with her 2 brothers. And a day before Mother's Day, what a treat that would be.
Pretty nice Mother's Day present, I'd say.
Caitlin Terry, ground ball to Erickson, the throw to first. Michigan has found its magic once again in the postseason. The Wolverines win their 12th